full of uncertainty.
No security.
Everything is possible.
It could be your mother, your father, even your sister. Let's stand together
To fight the deadly disease now. Indeed, let's come together to fight this deadly disease. Good morning, Liberia. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to Radio Land. It is a great honor again for us to be here this morning on another edition of Health Talk. The Mama Lume Health Talk platform is a 1-hour program that discusses a wide range of health-related issues. It brings you face-to-face with health professionals and provides you with causes, signs and symptoms, complications, and preventions of diseases and illnesses affecting us in our respective communities. Our aim is to promote, maintain, and improve better healthcare in our various environments. So today we're going to discuss menstruation or menstrual cycle. So women go through surgical bleeding most years of their life, starting in their early teen years to middle and old age. While for some women, this may be accepted as part of life. For some, there are times in this experience may not be pleasant at all. So, how much do we know what women go through during this bleeding episode and why? Well, stay tuned because today we're discussing menstruation. We have an expert guest panelist that will tell us all aspects of menstruation, challenges of bleeding in young female and older female, and causes of some of the abnormal uterine bleeding. Now, this panelist comprises of 2 registered nurses, Mr. Raymond T. Reese. He is currently doing his post-basic health sciences at the Mother Patton College of Health Science. He has over 3 years working experience, mainly in rural area in Bapolo, Bomi, and Mussurado County, respectively. Mr. Reese served as the case investigator for COVID-19 response team in Mussurado. He obtained a certificate in youth sexual and reproductive health from the USAID e-learning. And we will be joined in studio shortly by Miss Mercy Muna Shim. Due to some circumstances, she's not presently here with us in studio, but she's on her way. She will join us soon. Miss Mercy Muna Shim is also doing she is a senior student at the Mother Patton College of Health Sciences doing her post-basic health sciences. She is an educator. She have a lot of working experience, especially when it comes to women and children health. She's also a co-founding member of the Girls SCS Liberia, and she's next to the presenter Mama Lume on the Mama Lume Health Talk platform. So she will be joining us shortly in studio. We'll also open the phone line and entertain calls from callers to at least share their experience with us or to give their story of unpleasant experience of bleeding. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mama Lume Health Talk platform. And do follow us on Facebook, Mama Lume Health Talk platform. Or you can simply interact with us on our WhatsApp 0880-825410. So sit back, relax, and learn from this exciting health talk coming to you just after a short break. I am Momoa Enume, and this is Health Talk.
We are project. Liberia. Mama Liberia. Must all rise. Stand together. Fight Corona. Everything is possible. It could be your mama, your papa, brother, and sister. Let's stand together to fight this deadly disease now. Walk on the wall and live it. Hold up uncertainty. No security. Everything is possible. It could be your
Indeed, everything is possible. Even menstruation is a natural phenomenon, so it is possible for all females to be having their period. And period don't stop because of pandemic. I remember that was last year. Last year team period don't stop because of pandemic. So welcome back to today's edition of Health Talk. As you listen to the introduction, we will be talking about, or we are talking about menstrual cycle. So if you are listening to us and you want to be part of the discussions, the numbers to call is 0770 107 107 0886 107 107. So we're going to start the discussions and then we'll open the phone lines for more call. We'll entertain call. We encourage at least females, right? We'll encourage women to call to share their experience, especially when they are on their period. What do they experience? What go wrong? And when they have their first menstrual cycle, how was that experience, right? So we entertain call from both gender, but we encourage mainly for women to call, and men also can call and tell us that when your child or your wife is going through that stage, what can you do? So I have with me in studio, or we have with us in studio, Mr. Remo Reese. Mr. Remo Reese, welcome to Health Talk.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be here today because I'm an advocate of SRH, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
SRH, what is SRH?
Sexual reproductive health.
Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted for the audience to understand what you were talking about. So, we often hear the terminology is menage. You know, before we start with the whole menstruation issue, it got to start from somewhere. So, we normally hear menage. What is menage?
Alright, thank you for the question. Menage is the first menstruation a female go through.
Okay.
Like, normally it starts as from 11 to 14, but in rare cases it starts at 9. So the first menstruation like a woman goes through is called menage.
So at what ages menage starts?
Like I said, on the average is from 11 years to 14 years.
To 14 years.
Yeah, but in rare cases some starts at early as 9, but it's normal due to genetic makeup, so some people will experience it not early age than the others.
Okay, so you know, this is really quite experience for some women, or especially young girls who just their first time to see their menstrual cycle. Like that experience, that moment can you just tell a bit about that? Even though you are a man, but I just want you, because we learn these things in school, like most of the time, your first time, that experience.
Yeah, you know, for us in Africa, we are full of tradition and culture, so our parents will not, explain to us about menstruation. So the female, if they are receiving the first time, they will be afraid, they think that, or they are sick or something happened to them because they are not being educated. Because some tradition may prohibit it to be that way. So they will feel uncomfortable, they will feel neglected or rejected, they will feel that they are sick, they don't want to discuss with anybody because they are not being educated. So they don't feel fine the first time if they see their menses because they are not educated on that. So they will feel uncomfortable. Until they are being educated, then when it comes, they will not be surprised. Yeah.
Okay, and normally you see, like, okay, let me share my experience, because I'm a woman, like I passed through it, like, I do remember, because I grew up with my grandmother, so like, when school closed, we used to have the first quarter, the second quarter, and then the third quarter. I think presently schools are doing it now, right, Vanny? People are going through that curriculum instead of just first and second semester. So they are trimester, right? So like I grew up with my grandmother in Broadville, and like when we close for the first trimester, like I have to come to my aunts from maternal background for at least that 2 weeks visit. So when I came, I do remember that was in Douala, beyond the old Sherry gas station, Sanoya. Those that lived there before, they were exactly the what I'm talking about, right near the mosque. They have a pump there. At that time, we used to go and get water. So I took this gallon and then I went for water. So by that time, my grandmother, my mother on the mother now, my maternal grandmother, she was also with her daughter at that time when I went for that my break. So we were like on the line, like brother, they were the business. Everybody want to go first. Like when we were on the argument for water, like somebody just said, "Look, she not here." I said, "Well, look, I saw the blood. Like I start crying. Oh, I hear myself, that type of move. I was really afraid. But when I look at my body, looking, oh, I can really see where the blood's coming from. So I was really, really, really afraid. Like I start crying, like, and I hear myself, But no, I can see where the blood's coming from. And at that time, my older sister, she was older than me for a few years. Like she herself too, like, I don't know. She just you hear yourself go to the hall, you go choose your clothes, so some blood on your clothes. Like I was so afraid. So I left from to the pump and then I decided to come home. When I came home, my auntie was not to the house, but I met my grandmother there, my maternal grandmother. So she's like, wow. I will look at that and she said, don't be afraid. This can happen to any woman. You have reached that stage. So we went inside, like I removed the clothes, I took bath, and then she taught me. They have the cloth, right? Like the cloth, she fixed the cloth, she taught me how to use it. Like that whole day, I was not really comfortable with myself. Like when I start thinking where this blood is coming from, what is happening? Am I sick? What is happening? When my auntie came back, she tried to like sit me there and explain to me like this. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. It will always happen to you, especially every month you will experience this. So this is the first time, but watch out for it every month. So like I was like in the game now, like every month they were happy, but at that time we noticed that when you're in your 12, 13, 14, like you have the how they call it, the irregular period, right? Certain time you will receive, it happened to more youngsters. At certain age you will receive like certain, especially when you just start receiving, right? Without any disease condition, any hormonal, what they call, but these things happen. It's a natural phenomenon, right? So we dive into that topic. I don't want to eat the bread before the kids. So that was my experience. I was
So-
really afraid.
So I think we gotta do awareness, for parents to educate their guests on
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah,
Because-
on these things before the child reach to it, let the
Yes,
child know about it, so that when that happens, the child will know exactly what's going on.
yeah.
And sometimes students shy away. The person will not go to school. The person will feel like, oh, that thing coming, so I don't have to go to school. Some will even cry bitterly, like me. I cry.
Like my sister can say she don't like that thing at all, so she wish she could be me.
Yeah, the discomfort, it can create that kind of mood within you. Your mood can just change, right? Like everything can just like, who am I? What's really happening? Like people just feel that type of way, like they don't want to be bothered, they don't want to associate, they don't want to move, they just want to be static one place until their 30 days, 4 days, or up to 7 days finish. Because we know that menstruation do last from 1 to, that's the normal range, from 1 to 7 days, right? When you can go 7 days, that's no problem. That's a natural phenomenon. When you can go 3 days, it's okay for you. 4 days, it's okay for you. The only one is 2 days or 1 day. That is questionable, right? So we'll dive into that, and we will see how best we can educate our people on it. So before opening the phone now, Raymond, like you said, the period is a, hey, God, calm down. Like we said, it's a natural phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
But the whole thing is cycle around the great topic today, menstruation. So let us go back to this. What is menstrual cycle?
First we define menstruation. Menstruation is the normal flow of blood from the uterus into the vagina. So every month a woman body prepare itself for pregnancy. So once pregnancy doesn't occur, the lining of the uterus shares and comes out as menstruation. And the cycle is wherein you can have in the days from 1 to 7 days or up to 28 days and so forth. So like the cycle wherein the guy is safe period and the unsafe period, right? So like people have the myth that if you are menstruating and you have sex, you get pregnant. But that's not true, because at that time the egg is not released from the ovary yet until day 14 of your menstrual cycle. So to just discuss it small, when you are receiving, the first day you see the flow of blood is considered as day 1. Then you will start counting from that day 1 all the way to day 14. On the day 14 is where the air will release from the ovary into the fallopian tube, waiting for sperm to be fertilized. So once sperm fertilizes that egg, it travels down to the uterus, and the uterus goes and start to develop or grow. So you will not have menstruation again until you give birth after some time before you start to receive again. So for the safe period in the menstrual cycle, from day 1 to day 10 on your menstrual cycle is considered as safe period if you don't want to get pregnant. The reason is that from day 1 to day 10, at that time you don't have egg within the fallopian tube until day 14. Day 14 is when the egg being released from the ovary to the fallopian tube. So if you have sex within that range, day 14 and days around day 14, you can get pregnant. For example, if you have sex on day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14, up to 17, you can get pregnant, because the sperm lasts for 3 days. So 11, 12, 13, you're familiar with the egg, which is day 14. And if you have sex on the 14th itself, the egg is already there. Or if you have sex after the 14th, like 15, 16, 17, the egg will last for 3 days before it expires. So the unsafe period is from the 11th day to the 17th day, like the unsafe period to have sex, to not get pregnant. And the safe period is from the 1 to the 10. Like it's safe period if you don't want to get pregnant. So for that is the safe period and the unsafe period. But most people get confused. They say if you're receiving after menstruating, she gives her 7 days, which is not true. Just count until 1 to the 10, which is safe period, and unsafe period from the 11 to the 17. So 3 days before the 14 and 3 days after the 14 and the 14 itself, that is an unsafe period for the menstrual cycle.
Okay, thank you so much for educating us on this menstrual cycle. And you know, it look quite convincing for most young people, so they prefer like taking yeah, they how they call it, the family planning or contraceptive pills, like they don't want to burn because they want to be on the pill because they don't know the easy mathematics or easy trick about menstrual cycle, right? And you notice some people they will say, oh, let me just continue to use the condom because like I don't know about my cycle. But it's really easy if you go with your cycle, you really understand. It's also good to know about yourself, to understand yourself, to know who you are, right? Everybody don't normally have the same cycle. Some had short yeah, some have short cycles, some have long cycles, some go for 28 days, some even go for 29 or 30 days, right? So but once you know when your menstruation or your period start, you will definitely know when it's the 14, right? Now take for example today is April 1st, right? So now take for example like today is April 1st, right? Yeah. Let us take this for just an example, right? Like this is a calendar. Today is April 1st. And luckily for you, you were part of the April 1st group that started seeing your period.
It's very easy.
Yeah, it's very easy. So you just come. The day that you see the period, that's your day one. Right? The day you would not the day like because like the signs and symptoms you feel that enlarged breast, you feel the stomach pain. No, not the time you start coming. As soon as you see the period in your underclothes, come that day as your day one. Now take for example like the 30, the 29, you feel that enlarged breast, you feel that stomach pain, back pain. These are signs and symptoms. But today is April 1st. As soon as you wake up, you see your period in your own clothes. So what you have to do, you just mark day 1, day 2, day 3, day 3. Sometimes some people finish. Some people sometimes they climax at day 3 and totally completely on day 4. But some people go up to day 7, right? So doing this thing, these are just the length of the period. But you have to count from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14. Like what he was explaining. It is always good to have calendar with you, right? It is always good to have calendar, or you can draw your own calendar. Like today is April, you start receiving. Like for me, I do have calendar for it, right? As soon as you start receiving, you go to the calendar, you mark, you put an X stand to the date you start receiving, and then you count from that date up to 14 days, you mark it and then relax yourself, right? So you will know exactly when is your ovulation. So when you count the 40 days, you take it from the same 14 backward 3 and forward 3. So you count from 14, 1, 2, 3, 12 is the number 3. Then you count from backward again, 1, 2, 3, right? So you count it from here, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So this day 12. You gotta be very careful. As soon as you have set within this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to get pregnant. So you just keep yourself at least, because this is your unsafe period. So you need to come back with 1, 2, 3, then 12. Then you start from 10 again, 1, 2, 3, 12. So this is your unsafe period. As soon as you have sex, especially unprotected sex, what's going to happen? You're going to get pregnant. And if you are not prepared for pregnancy, that is another serious moment for you, because you need to have baby by choice, not baby by chance. So you need to work it out and see how best you can study and master your period, because it's very good for you to know about your period. Then you will stop taking contraceptive pills. You see, some people, when they take the pills or they take the injection, they bleed to the extent that they either have to stop it or they have to go back to the person that administered that pill and then give them another medication or injection. So to just save you from stress and ease, you just have to learn about your cycle. So we're going to entertain cars. We're going to entertain cars from callers, and we hear about their experience when it comes to period, or when it comes to menstrual hygiene management. How do they manage menstruation? What was their experience? Your first Thanksgiving menstruation. So what do you think? What came to your mind when you first saw that moment, when you experienced that? So the numbers to call and be part of the discussion is 0770 107 107 0886 107 107. So call and be a part of the discussion. Call and share your experience on what went wrong when you saw it, or if some of you buckle classes because of menstruation. Just call and tell all your experience. Oh, we lost that call, but you can keep your call coming in 0770 107 107. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning.
Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Said Usman Kawa. I'm calling you from down Radio Fee.
Yeah, Kawa, welcome to Health Talk. Oh, we lost that caller. Good morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, welcome to Health Talk.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me take this time as a golden opportunity to say hi and bravo to the both of you in studio. To admit, we are satisfied with the discussions ongoing, and I'm also satisfied to see one of my own today in studio discussing national issues relevant to the growth of our country, Mama Liberia. I just want to take this time again as a golden opportunity to say thank you to you. Continue your hard work. May Allah continue to bless you. Continue to give you more knowledge. Continue to guide you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Thank you for the motivation. So the phone line, oh, we missed that call. You can keep your call coming in 0770 107 107 0886 107 107. Call and share your experience about menstrual cycle. Call and tell us what do you know about menstruation. If you are a male, you have a female child, or you have a sisters, when they are in this type of condition or they are experiencing their period, what advice do you give them? So we will keep entertaining call at the same times we keep the ball rolling. Yeah, Roman, you are saying something.
Yeah, so like some of the challenges our female face in school.
Okay, we got a caller on the line. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from? Your name? Wrestler, welcome to Health Talk. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, I feel so happy to hear men telling all their story that they educate their daughters. You know, some of us we see this as a taboo, right? The male menstruation like a taboo, which of course is not supposed to be. You have to educate your girls, children about it even before they go reach it. So we appreciate you greatly. Thank you for taking that bold step for educating your daughters about a menstrual cycle. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Rose Gobi. I want to ask one question.
Yeah, Rose, welcome.
Yeah, what is when woman receiving, sometimes she receive on the first, but other times it change to the 18th. What can be the cause for changing?
Thank you so much, Rose. Keep listening and we'll answer your call, okay? Your questions.
Hello?
Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Princess Walker, calling from the whole community.
Princess Walker, welcome to Health Talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I also wanted to ask questions
Okay.
concerning the change of menstrual cycle, like sometimes you receiving your stomach and hair. Yes, I really wanted to know.
All right. Thank you so much, Princess. Thank you for calling. Keep listening. We'll discuss that. Did I cut off or she? Okay. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, good morning. My name is Alfonso. We are calling from Chicken Factory.
Yeah, Alfonso, welcome to Health Talk.
Okay, I just want to share how the way you work in the studio there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my little sister. She like a good friend.
Okay.
And few days she came to me. She said, normally before she receives, or ticket can be pumped. But she received and or not pumped. So I asked her, I said, what you do your best to know what's unfolding. So that's why I took her. So I want to know what's happening there.
All right. Thank you so much. Keep listening and we'll discuss that. It's a very good question. Okay.
Thank you.
So Raymond, let's take the two female questions almost like the same. The first one said, what can be the reason sometimes you receive the first and in other months you receive the 18? The second one said, what causes menstrual changes? So you can address that questions and I will. Okay, we got a call in. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from? Oh, we lost that caller.
Yeah, I think for the question, like, it's now a bad thing, right? It's just a genetic makeup or a way, you know, the female system is male. Menstruation is not menstruation only one day. It can occur on the first, on the second, on the fifth, on the sixth, any day, but just know that once you start seeing it on a particular day, just consider that day as day one. Whether it start on the first, so sometimes people see it 2 times a month, right? Like people who receive on the first of every month. Sometimes they will see it anybody month.
Especially the 31.
Yeah, because
the month I have 31 days.
Yeah, because they will see because every 28 days you
28 days, yeah. Some people.
So it's now a disease or now a sickness or illness, but it's normal. So like you said, it's now you know a problem. It's just a non changes in the body, but it's not a problem.
Okay. Thank you so much. Like my guests were saying, this is a natural phenomenon, and also we can say it's due to hormonal changes. This is why you see sometimes you receive the first and sometimes you receive the fifth. And so I will always like to get experience on myself because I'm a woman sitting in the position of woman and discussing a topic that related to women, right? I'm a woman sitting in a position of women and discussing a topic related to women. So in my case, like I normally receive the beginning of the month. I always, when the month is going to an end, I always expect my menstruation from the 1st to the 5th. During the first day to the day 5th, I have to receive, right? At certain times when you go for 2-3 months and then after sometimes again will change. I will go to the 15th. A certain time I will go to the 25th. So just like that, it's a natural process, right? It changes, so it have nothing to do with disease condition or what. No, it changes. Menstruation is not static to say I will only come this month and I will not come this month. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from? We lost that caller. You have to call 0770 107 107 0886 107 107. And to the guy that called, the last caller, he said I think his niece or his sister they live together. Like when she starts to receive, the breast will be pumped. It's there when she good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Rose again.
Rose,
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, like for me, I received only 3 days to finish. But some my friend asked me to say, but why you on 3 days? And then I always go for 1 week before it stops. I said, I don't know myself. But for me, I was received for 3 days. So I want to know what it costs for her to receive 4 plus.
Okay, Rose, keep listening. We discussed that, right? I think we talked about it. The length of the cycle. The length of the cycle is from day 1 to day 7. It's normal. Nothing changed. Some people can receive for 2 days. Some people can receive for 3 days. Some people can receive for 4 to 5, 6, 7 days. So it's normal. The only time it will become abnormal when it go beyond 1 week, right? It go for 9 days, 10 days, 11 days. That you have to see a gynecologist. You really have to visit a doctor to know exactly what's happening. But that's a normal phenomenon. Like for the guy that said the girl breast can be pumped. These are some of the signs and symptoms when a lady is about to receive. You will feel severe back pain. Oh my gosh, that's me right there. You will feel stomach pain. That's me. Like your stomach will hurt profusely. You will feel like the wall is collapsing on you, right? You will feel that severe stomach pain, and you will feel. In my case, because I would like to serve the experience on me, I'm a woman. My breast will be enlarged, very heavy. Like I'll feel that heaviness in my breast. All these are signs and symptoms. It happens to women, right? Some people they will say their palm will be red, like their nails will be red. Some people will feel like, good morning, your name and where are you calling from? We lost that caller. Please stop beeping. You can call and be part of the discussion.
So for instead of the palm red, some people they will not see the flow of blood. But then the palm will be very red.
We got a caller. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, Rachel calling from Capital Hill.
Your name?
Rachel.
Rachel, welcome to Health Talk.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to listen to Molly for on the song gave birth to my daughter. She said something anyway. Someone I received, someone I didn't receive at all. So I don't know.
And the child is how many months?
She just said 1 year yesterday.
She said perfect.
All right, thank you so much. Keep listening. We'll discuss that. Okay, she said since she gave birth, like sometimes she stopped receiving for some time. She stopped seeing her period for some time, and like certain times she will see and certain times she don't see, but she's giving birth. So that question is not surprising. You can answer the question.
Yeah, alright. Like people who are breastfeeding, right? They may not have regular period because it has to do something with your breast. So once they are still breastfeeding, sometimes you may not see a period, or sometimes you may see it but it'll be irregular. So it's not a disease control, except where you got the blood is very red, then it's normal. But where the blood is very dark and got clots in it, which means you have some infection. But when the blood is very red.
Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello, my name is Anna. I'm calling from Clarendon.
Anna, welcome to Health Talk.
Yeah, I would like to ask the question. I'll call.
We lost that caller. Yeah, you are discussing.
So when the risk could be due to the breastfeeding. Once you say breastfeeding for a child, it will be irregular. Like I said, she cannot observe the blood. If the blood is very rare, which means it's normal, but when it is dark in around, clot in it very thick, then it will be the
Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Anna. I'm calling from Clarendon.
Yeah, Anna, welcome to Health Talk.
Yeah, I listened to the topic. I would like to ask the question: what can be the cause if you start receiving the first month and then the end, they come again? Because it always happens to me.
Okay, keep listening to Health Talk. I think we just talked about that, right? Like, especially those with the 28-day cycle, when you receive the 1st of January, you may likely see the 30th or the 31st of January. So, like, these are normal phenomena. For breastfeeding mothers, some people, like, when they're breastfeeding, they don't receive at all until that child leaves the breast, right? Because it's a process that's taking place once, the mama gland, the breast milk, the child is breastfeeding. Once you breastfeed the child, like, you not have that process going on for some women, but for some women also they can still be breastfeeding at the same time receiving. This is why you see some people, like, the child is 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, and then they are pregnant because what? Like, you breastfeeding at the same time you receiving. And in her case, like she said, sometimes she receive and sometimes she don't receive. So, like, these are natural something, but you have to be careful because when you start receiving, while breastfeeding is really dangerous, because when you have sex during your ovulation period, you're going to get pregnant again. This is why you see some women, most of the time, they already got child and they pregnant again, they carry the other baby, the baby don't walk and they are pregnant. For Anna, I call from Clarendon, we discussed that once you have cycle is 28 days, only a few people, because we all have the same cycle, few people go for 29 or 30 days. So once you fall in the 28 days category, you will observe that in most of the month that have 31 days, you will receive twice. Meaning you receive the beginning of the month and you will receive the end of the month. That's a natural phenomenon. But the only place it will become abnormal if you don't receive at all not in the first month, the second month, and you having sex regularly, meaning you have to see your doctor. That may lead to another condition. So once you don't having sex at all and you don't receiving like 2 or 3 months, you have to see your doctor to know what is going on into the system. So
let me like get one myth. Yeah, so one myth is people who receive sometimes, especially adolescents, they will take antibiotics, which is not advisable because the blood flow is not infected, right? The blood is clean. It's not infected because from the uterus, so it's not infected. So I don't advise them to take antibiotics after receiving because they are not infected with any infection because the blood is septic and it's clean. Except when you have been diagnosed of infection before you can take antibiotics. But once you receive normally with all communication, then I will take antibiotics.
And that's the thing we see most of the young people do, especially young female, like they always have their antibiotic in their bag like when they have sex. Because like I do a survey, I visited a school where I was, entertaining questions for young girls and also educating them about sex and menstrual cycle. So like when you ask most of them like, do you know about menstruation? Yes. What is menstruation? Are the blood that can come every month? Okay, but what can you do to make that blood hygienic for yourself and to save you from public ridicule? Meaning you don't scatter all over in your clothes and you walking in the street, you feel disgrace. So some of them that this. So how can you link your menstruation to that of pregnancy? Some of them say when I want to have sex, I will take medication, and after sex I take medication. Oh my gosh, they're forgetting to know that you have your ovulation period, and sometimes some people when they're receiving after they want to day 3 or day 7, the just say that the time they can have sex. So they will take that medication and forgetting to know they have their ovulation stay ahead of them. Like, so before you log no, oh, but well, I have sex. I talk medication, but it's the medication said don't even work on me. And sometimes they're drugs resistant, especially certain time we come. This is one of the issues that we have to discuss when it comes to drugs resistant, especially the over the counter drugs that people take a lot. Like you take a lot of these antibiotics, and then you have chronic infection, you go to the hospital, and then they start with the basics, right? Maybe they start with amoxicillin, they start with of the first class tetracycline drugs, right? Like they give it to you. So what goes wrong is the drug will not kill you because you already abused the drugs. You already taken these drugs like for over a period of time. Yeah. So like it wouldn't even shake you. And then the doctor or the nurse will be like, what's going on? Because nothing is happening because why you abuse the drugs. So we really have to leave that habit of always taking medication when we're receiving and always swallowing medication after having sex, because you just have to know your safe period. And when you know your safe period, like what the colleague just said, what the studio guest said, when you know your safe period, you are safe. You don't even have to take contraceptive pills, right? You are safe. You will move. You will decide when to have child. You will decide when to born. Like I want to born in this month. I want to have child in this month. You can also plan that and know when to born and know when not to born. So it is very, very important to know about menstrual cycle. So Raymond's time is fast spent. We almost like out of time. We almost like discuss all the basics. So time is fast spent. We keep waiting for Mercy. Up to now, she's not here. So what is the reason sometimes for the irregular menses? Just brush over that.
Yeah, alright. Then when sometimes I will see in the month and the following month I don't see until the following month, right? So like I said, sometimes due to hormonal changes or due to infection, or maybe somebody is breastfeeding. But like I said, you gotta observe the blood because the blood should be bright red, not kind of like dark and have clots in it. So once it is dark with clots, it means you have to go see your doctor for checkup. Maybe you may have infection. And sometimes, I want to have different body makeup. Sometimes it will just be hormone changes in the body. Or sometimes maybe due to pregnancy, maybe you have sex and you got pregnant in the last month, so the month you didn't see it. So you gotta go do an MTD test to declare that if you are pregnant or not. Or sometimes people who are breastfeeding, the estrogen will also affect that it will not come regularly or sometimes it will not come at all. So once you know all of that, you'll be on the safe side. But you observe the blood, it should be bright red, not dark with clots, and don't have foul odor. So when you have foul odor, definitely you may have some infection. Yeah, and some of the challenges that female found, especially those that in school, is the hygienic, hygienic in school. Like they don't have good bathroom, they don't have pad, they don't have running water. So when you are receiving, maybe like uncomfortable because nobody go and change. The boy will start to bully them, start to make fun of them. Especially when you see blood stain like there's nowhere safe to go and change, and can clean themselves up. So most of them will stay home when they are on a period. We just saw some part of 2019 in Babulu in Bomi. Most of them will say when I'm receiving, I will stay home because the bathroom is not safe. I'm gonna go change, and our friend in the class will start to mock at us, and start to make fun of us. So I think both boys and girls should be educated on menstruation before they start to bully their female friends. There one time I saw a post on Leggy. There were three guys were in the line along with a female. She was at the front. So when she was at the front, she started to see blood flow. So it made her trouser up. And then the other guy at the back started to mock her. So the guy who was next to her, even when he saw the blood, he took a jacket and gave it to her, and then she covered herself. So she was like, wow. So we should not bully our female friends because it is not a disease but a natural occurrence that everyone should go through. Like according to survey, every day 300 million people go through menstruation every day. So it's not a disease but a natural
Phenomenon.
Yes.
So menstruation is a natural phenomenon. It's not a disease condition. It's just something that have to happen once you are a female. You will experience menstruation, and it will end. Some people end at 45, some people end at 50, some people end at 55. So it depends. It's a natural phenomenon.
So
When you see
menopause, right?
menopause, yeah. So you see the first one is menage, and at the end or the last one is menopause, meaning you will be at age 55, 65, you will not see it again. It will not happen to you. So time is fast spent, time is our greater enemy. Someone just showing me time in the startup. We entering into another people time. 1 hour is not actually important for her. But what you was questioning is a very key, is a cardinal point. This is why Girls Excels is funded. This is why we take on initiative to visit schools to educate young girls about their health, especially menstrual hygiene management. So Girls Excel is set aside to educate young women about their health, to tell them how to manage. Like you mentioned schools. Some school, when we did our first survey, we noticed that some schools don't even keep a menstrual pad in their offices. Right? Like, so I asked the other guy if a girl received in her uniform, and then what do you guys do? So he's like, we just send that person home. Don't you know that she's going to miss an important part of her life on that day in case she was taking quiz, in case she was on an exam? So are you going to send her home? You guys need to have pie. So, oh, no, like, brother, we can be anything behind the government. So what have you done? Say the government is not to do. What have you done? So, like, we really need to take this to the public. We really need to educate our people. We really need to talk to young people, especially the young girls that are coming up. They don't know anything about menstrual cycle. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming in studio. Thank you for educating us on the importance of menstrual cycle. Thank you so much, and let me just get your closing statement because I have to do that. Time is already.
Alright, so once again, I'm Raymond T. Reese, or RN in Kennedy of Post Basic as I'm a parent college. So like you said, I want to recommend that the ministry should make it a priority that every school should have a good wash and facility. So they do an inspection that if you want to open your school. Alright, so once again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in studio. We want to take this time to thank and appreciate the Hot Effie family. We want to say thank you to Honorable DJ Blue for inviting us time in studio to always discuss health issues that are affecting us in our various community. To join us next week, same time, same studio on another edition of Health Talk. I am Mama Elube. Thank you so much for joining us.